Just going through a few more of these emails. This one's from Kent from Nova Scotia, Canada. He says, Carl, he's wondering if you've got any personal mantras that you could pass along. For instance, he reminds us of Ben Franklin's famous mantra, waste not, want not.
Who said that?
Ben Franklin.
What did he do? What was his job?
Benjamin Franklin was a well-respected American politician from the 1800s. He was a sort of thinker, a philosopher, a scientist, deeply respected. Also a big political figure. He features on the dollar bill or the $10 bill or something. Yeah. So he's one of the great sort of American Enlightenment thinkers. And he came up with the mantra, waste not, want not.
You must know waste not, want not. I mean, that's just...
Do you understand the phrase waste not, want not?
No, not really, no. What does it mean? I've never used it.
It's like... don't throw stuff away because you might need it, and therefore you won't be wanting anything because you didn't throw it away.
So he was a bit of a hoarder.
If you don't waste food, for instance, then you won't...
He's a bit of a hoarder!
For God's sake.
No, but I'm just saying, you know, he's a man in power. Is that the best thing he ever said?
No, I'm sure he came up with many, many profound things.
Why is that one
he did
remembered?
experiments in electricity and conducting electricity, all sorts.
But that impresses me more, inventing electricity, than someone...
He didn't invent electricity.
Wait a minute! Didn't impress you more than what?
Just saying, waste not, want not. I don't think it's that good. It's not even catchy.
How would you word it?
I'd just say, whoa, don't be chucking that out. You might need that later.
Don't be chucking that out. You might need that later. Karl Pilkington.
Whereas some would argue that waste not, want not is perhaps a little bit more pithy, a little bit more...
We should go through great sayings and phrases and say
if he could, well, firstly, does he know what they mean? And then secondly, can he improve them?
That would be brilliant.
We'll do that next time.
All right, let's see. Okay, Winston Churchill. Never have so few done so much for so many. What do you think of that? How would you... Do you know what that means?
I'd just be annoyed if I was one of them who gave a lot for a few or whatever, right?
No, gave a lot for so many. If you were one of those few that gave so much for so many, i.e. it means these few good men, their actions freed the world. They freed the world. They have an impact on every person in the world, and they were few brave men, and that's what he's saying.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is, if I was one of them men who gave up his life, right, I'd want a name check. I don't want to be bungled in with everyone else who is saying a load of blokes gave it their lives. Well done on that. See you later.
That's brilliant.
Did you just say bungled in?
Bungled in, yeah.
He made up a word.
You don't want to be bungled in.
You made up a word. See, that's it. You see, we've been looking for it. That's original. That's Karl Pilkington. I don't want to be bungled in.
Right, do you know we've chatted about charities before, haven't we?
Sure. Yeah.
Done a lot of stuff on that, right? Just coming back from Manchester, right? Got off the train, Euston.
Yeah.
Right? Off the train, walking through the busy bit and stuff. There's this fella stood there, right? Good charity worker.
Yeah.
Right? Nice looking fella. He's got his suit on, a tie and everything, quite respectable and that, right? Look down at his bucket. All money's been put in the bucket and that, right? On the front of the bucket, right? He says collecting for the homeless at Christmas. Now, why can't they do that?
What, the homeless?
The homeless people. Why is some fella taking his time out, right, his own time where he could be at home? Why?
Some of us have got homes to go to.
Yeah. Why? Do you know what I mean?
What do you think? Just give them the buckets?
What are the homeless people doing whilst he's doing that? Is what I'm saying. What have they got on the timetable?
Cut out the middleman. Cut out the middleman.
What would prevent a homeless person and an entrepreneurial or homeless person just getting a bucket and writing that on there themselves?
Could I suggest something? Hunger. Some drug addiction, traumas, often mental illness, just possibly too depressed to get up, put a suit on and go to Euston Station with a nice bucket with some writing on it.
And then, right, I was thinking about that, right, and I was walking down the street in London with Suzanne, saw a little homeless, well, I didn't see the homeless bloke, right, I saw a leg, right, sticking out of a doorway, thought, here we go, right, walked past it. Right, you're not going to believe this.
Go on.
Homeless.
Yeah.
Chinese fella. I've never seen one of them. No, I'm not having a go, right? But have you ever seen... do you know what I mean? That was a shock.
I really don't think I have. I think he's got me there. I hate to say it, but I must say I can't remember ever seeing a homeless Chinese person.
Weird, isn't it?
I
actually said, I was at walk past and I said to Suzanne, did you see that? She went, what? I said, just look back there. She said, what? I said, that homeless fella, look back at him. She said, what? I said, he's Chinese. And she said, yeah, good point.
Good point. Of course she did.
She said that to shut you up.
She didn't want to get into a conversation with you. I got a text from Carl yesterday, Steve.
A text from Carl, yeah.
Yeah. I'll just read it to you. Okay. See you to Moz for a face rub at 6:30 then. No bum tubes, though. So I was intrigued, and I called Carl and said, I think you've just sent me a text by mistake. What's the explanation of that?
My mate, right, Russell, he said, you know, there's things that go on in life that you need to experience.
Yeah.
He said, just pop along. And I didn't say yes straight away.
What's a face rub? You mean a facial? Where you lay down...
You just clean your face with a flannel and that.
So you're going to go lie down with another man and have your face
Well, no, this is what I was saying to him. There's a couple of questions. I didn't just say yes straight away. I questioned it. I said, well, I'm not that happy with this. So I said, look, there's nothing weird going on here, is there? I said, it's not a house, is it? It's a proper clinic and that. He said, yeah, it's proper. You wear a dressing gown and that. I said, well, I'm not that
So he's already got you in the dressing gown?
Yeah, well, I haven't agreed to that. Today I've worn a little round polar neck sort of jumper so I don't have to take it off. It's not going to get in the way of my face. I made sure I didn't wear a shirt with a collar. I'm not taking this off. They can put the dressing gown on top of this.
Right. Okay.
I don't know if it's a woman who rubs my head. Don't know if it's a bloke or whatever.
Well, the thing is, you get extra, don't you, for your face rub, because your face goes all the way back over the top of your head down to the back of your neck.
But all I was,
so you've got a big face, haven't you?
All I was saying to him is, I'll have the face rub, but I don't know if once you're in there,
right,
they try and sell you the bum tube thing.
What's the bum tube? Is that a euphemism? What are you talking about?
The thing where they pop a tube in and put coffee in your belly and it cleans you out and that.
An enema? Why would you have that?
I don't want it. I don't think
Why
you
not?
need to. Just because I think I've said to you before about, you know, you don't need to be that clean inside. Do you know what I mean? I don't mind washing my face. What occasion do you need where you're that cleaned out? Do you know what I mean? And it's always a clear tube and that, and you see all the stuff whizzing past. I don't understand why it's clear. I don't know why you've got to see what's coming out of you. Like it's, you know, like the generation game, making notes of what's whizzing past. Forget it.
I was watching some different TV, saw an amazing documentary. It was called Tribes. This guy, and he goes and lives with different tribes around the world, these small little indigenous people. And there was one, he went to Papua New Guinea in Indonesia, right, Carl? He lived with the Kombai tribe. All right. Now, this Papua New Guinea is an extraordinary place because it is one of the only places left on Earth that hasn't been fully explored. There are parts of it that it's just blank on the map because they've never explored there. They don't know what's there. They don't know what's going on. So, firstly, that must already freak you out. Imagine that. 21st century, they have no idea what's going on down there.
But do they need to know if there's nothing going on?
Well, they don't know what's going on. There could be stuff going on.
No, but there's no chance that they'll go, we haven't been over there, and someone goes and there's like an Arndale centre. Nothing's going to be there, is it? So there's no...
Well, I'll tell you what is there, okay? There's these various small tribes. Some of these tribes are still cannibals, eating people from other tribes.
Do they know they could move on? Have they got a telly? Or have they seen a telly and gone, I'm not up for that? Or are they saying...
It's not the Amish.
They haven't chosen
But what
this.
is the difference between the Amish and these people?
Well, the Amish are a group of people that choose to live in that way. These people are just essentially untouched by civilization. I mean, they do have interaction with civilization, and people do come there, but they still live in this very, very almost prehistoric way.
They did buy a telly, but there was nothing on because there isn't any broadcasters.
They couldn't plug it in.
Yeah.
They're having an absolute nightmare.
Yeah.
But there was one guy, okay, now he said that his brother was dying. This was a couple of years ago, right? His brother was dying. He said to his dying brother, what happened? Why are you dying? This guy said, it was a bloke in another village. Okay, he goes over to the other village. He kills this other bloke, right? He eats him, or eats bits of him. The other village gets a bit annoyed. They go, what's going on? Why did you kill this bloke? He went, sorry about that, right? They said, well, you need to make it up to us. He gave him a pig. They said, a pig's not enough. They gave him 5 pigs, so 5 pigs apparently made up for the fact that they'd killed one of them. They said, well, hang on, what are you going to do with this bloke's wife?
Why were they bartering? Why didn't they just get the police in and say, what's going on?
What police?
Yeah. Why didn't they call in Kojak? Because he'd have sorted it out, wouldn't he?
What I mean is, right, they're miles away from anything, but it doesn't sound like the great place to live, right? Could they not move? Could one of them go, do you know what, I'm sick of this. I'm moving or whatever and go to a proper city. How far away is this? These Papa people to the next.
They're like the Smurfs. They're very like the Smurfs.
But how many miles away from a place with a normal life going on?
But think about this, Carl. Firstly, they don't speak the language, so they don't have any practical skills. They've got no experience of civilization. So even if they chose to go and live in one of these cities, what can they do? How can they function?
I think there's some bacteria that has better lives than that.
That's got to be offensive.
Why?
Okay, how about this is one of the weirdest things. This is one of the weirdest things, right?
Sorry. An entire people, an entire race
Just
of
dismiss.
people.
No, I'm not having a go, but I'm just saying I wouldn't fancy it, is what I mean.
But they
You know what I
don't
mean? We're living
know
in
of
ice.
another world. How can they imagine that they could... Oh, I'll tell you what, this is boring. I'm tired of hunting for food and eating fish from the river. I'll tell you what, I'd like a world where there's iPods and room service. I'm going to go and move to New York. They're not thinking like that, are they, Carl? Because they don't know about this other world.
People go to these places on holiday now. They like a little bit of danger. They like to see how the others live. So all I'm saying is we know they exist. The Papa people, maybe people aren't going there. You know, it doesn't sound like the best place. You know, I can't imagine it having a tourist board or anything, right? But would they accept me if I popped over there and, you know, with Suzanne in Papa?
Well, okay, this is one of the things that they do, okay, which is a tradition you may have to do. These combine, right, they invert their penises. So they push their penises back up inside their bodies.
Like a sock.
What for?
Well,
Keeps it out of the way.
Of what?
Well, if you're running through the undergrowth chasing a hog, you don't want it flapping away, you know. But it's also become a kind of ceremonial thing. So if you were over there, you may well have to try it yourself.
You would have to try it yourself. If you went there, you'd have to try it yourself.
Definitely.
But even cavemen had little pants on. Why haven't they?
Whoa!
Slow down.
Rewind.
What do you mean?
Again, you've been watching the Flintstones.
No. It's just, you know.
Is it a leopard skin pair of pants that's actually quite a... Go on.
But it's a well-known fact that they wore like bear pants or whatever.
Bare pants. What do you mean, bare pants? No. Listen, you are a qualified anthropologist. So what?
I mean that, you know, whenever you see them on footage or in a museum.
Footage.
Yeah. Whenever you see that,
Well, it's a bit shaky, isn't it? It's black and white as well, isn't it? Caveman footage.
You always see them wearing a little bit of fur little pants and that. So what I'm saying is, even though what year is it to these people in the woods?
I don't know what this conversation is anymore. He's just clutching at straws. His mind, it's like a fly, his mind, isn't it? It's just buzzing round, it's trying to find a window. It is just like...
hitting against pieces of information, but then just bouncing off. Dazed, perplexed.
Forget it then. Well, yeah, my mum always said I was old. She said I was an old baby. She said I could frown before I could walk.
Hello, and welcome to the Ricky Gervais Show, with me, Ricky Gervais, Stephen Merchant. Hello. And the little round-headed buffoon that is Karl Pilkington.
All right.
Now, you probably know me from such works as The Office and Extras, Stephen being my co-writer and co-director on those things. For those people who are not so aware of Karl Pilkington, he was our producer, sort of given to us when we first started on XFM. And you're thinking, well, why are we doing a podcast? It's because I like to be in a room with Karl Pilkington. You know, like some people go and help sort of chimps.
Do they?
Yeah.
Well, they go to the jungles and things.
And how about little sort of endangered
Diane
species?
Fossey or whatever.
Exactly.
You're very
yeah.
much the Diane Fossey of the Manchester scene.
Of the little bald mank world. And Karl Pilkington is an ongoing experiment for me, because I've seen him blossom from an idiot into an imbecile. And I want to see it through. Look at the way he's looking at us. Look at that. He's got a perfectly round head. And that's why I'm doing this podcast. Karl, what do you think about all this?
It's just, I mean, we are living in that sort of era now, aren't we? That you need to be able to listen to stuff on demand when you want it and stuff.
I know you're not a fan of the iPod in general, are you, or any of the MP3 things? You're concerned.
I'm warming to it, but
This is what's amazing about Karl. Even though he's talking about things like MP3 players, computers, iPods, he sounds like he was found in a glacier and thawed out. Do you know what I mean? And sort of taught to speak.
We're a couple of high school guys who found him, and we're trying to ingratiate him in the gang, trying to pass him off as someone from the modern day.
But my thing with iPods is, now, do we need them? Do you know what I mean? We're living in that era now where we have invented most of the stuff that we need, and now we're just messing about.
They said that in 1900. Someone actually said everything that's to be invented has already been invented. They said that in 1900. And how wrong were they?
No, but what came out? At what point? What was invented in that year where they went, right, that's it now?
The 20th century. Think what happened in the 20th century.
Go on.
Well, planes.
Yeah, but is that a good thing? Planes and that. Do you need a plane, really? Wouldn't it have been better if we all stuck where we should be instead of travelling about? War. Well, look, war's happening, isn't it? Because everyone's saying, well, now we can fly, we'll go over there.
So there were no wars prior to the invention of the aeroplane?
Not like there is today.
Right.
But what I'm saying is, the world's got smaller on it. Everyone's saying that, right? Yeah. You know, the way I was saying to you the other day, you know, we now go to places where we shouldn't go. People go on holiday to places where you've got to have an injection before you go there. Yeah. Forget it then. That's a warning. Don't go there.
I'm with you on that. I don't want to enter a country where I have to have an injection to stop me from dying while I'm in that country. Right, I totally agree with you on that.
So what happened is, so they invented the plane and it's like, oh, let's go on holiday. And then they go, oh, to die now. Oh, well, you've got to invent something. Let's invent an injection. And then it's like, right, well, what else do we need to go to that place? There's a lot of faffing. So what I'm saying is...
Is that a place? A lot of faffing?
What I'm saying is, you know, Steve's travelled more than I have. You've been to, like, dangerous places.
I've been to places where you need injections, yeah.
Yeah, but why?
Because it's fascinating, isn't it? You know, do you not believe in that idea of travel broadens the mind? You know, it makes you experience other ways of life, other ways of thinking. It just enriches you as a human being. That's the whole reason people go travelling.
Well, since the invention of the telly, you don't have to go that far to see it.
You're absolutely right.
So there you go, then. The telly was the 20th century, wasn't it?
Yeah, it's pretty good.
So where would you stop then? You'd stop making stuff now? Stop inventing stuff right now?
If we're going to invent something, right, forget, like, the traditional way of people having kids, right? The way they, you know, have it away in that. You know,
what do you mean? What do you mean?
No, you know, like the way that, you know, we have kids and stuff. If it'd be good if what happened was to control it is if man and woman, right, they're born and that, they enjoy their life, they learn a lot, they live to be about 78, I think, by that point.
So specific.
Yeah, 78,
no, but by 78, I reckon you've sort of got to that point where you go, do you know what, I've done everything I'm going to do. If you haven't bungee jumped by the time you're 78, you're not going to do it. No. You know what I mean? So it's kind of like...
Your hips come off.
You've done it all now.
Yeah.
And then you die, right? So, say if everyone had that, they live to be 78, but then, just as you die, you have a little baby inside you, and as you die, your life carries on.
Sorry,
how is this happening?
Sorry, are you mental?
No, but don't you think...
I mean, what? I've never heard such drivel.
You're saying that, but if Newton said it, you'd go, interesting. That's what annoys me.
The point is, Carl, he never would. No, he'd never say it, that's the point.
If you never say it...
I don't understand what you're talking about there. How was it? How is there a little baby in a 78-year-old?
No, what I'm saying is it's like an apple, where... The apple grows and it's got its little baby pips in it, and the apple goes and the seeds are planted and a new one's born.
But that's what happens.
But that is what reproduction is.
Yeah, but I'm saying babies aren't being born left, right, and centre. It's controlled, so that as someone dies, someone's born.
But Carl, stop. Whose responsibility is this?
If you don't want to do it, we won't do it. But
is it supposed to be nature? Has nature got to develop humans so that we act that way? We live that way? Or is this a scientific experiment?
He said to you then, he said, look, if you don't want to do it, we don't need to do it.
Yeah.
Like, if you were up for it, we'll sort it out. Yeah. We can do that.
We'll have a whip round so we can do the research.
I just think, at the end of the day, we've got to do something. And is anyone keeping an eye on this and looking at what we can do next to control the population thing? It does my head in that I've got to live in London for work and what have you, and there's loads of people here, and, you know, forget going out on a Saturday night, it's too busy, and you can't move, and they keep... I mean, what annoys me about London
So your solution is that 78-year-old women have little babies inside them, and as they slip away into death, the little babies... And how is that baby then raised? Who looks after the baby?
Because it's a pretty good system, having a baby while you're young enough to look after that baby and make sure it lives to, you know, reproductive age itself.
I mean, that system's been working for years.
Nature's sort of sorted it out. Natural selection and evolution sort of makes that a good model.
But wait a minute, nature. Pop that on hold, because Karl Pilkington's got an idea.
Yeah.
That's what it was, just an idea.
Yeah, well, it was nonsense. But thank you for it.
The worst.
Yeah.
I mean, it was the ramblings of someone you'd find by themselves in a hospital eating flies.
This is the sort of thing you find when, if they find maybe a pamphlet or a booklet written by a psychopath. You know, someone, just before they went on a rampage and then turned the gun on themselves, they go through their possessions and they find a book and it's got weird drawings, women with knives in their face, and this kind of garbage.
In fact, I saw a similar sort of theory written out on a wall, but it was written in shit.
Exactly. Yeah.
No, all I'm saying is, I think it's, you know, when people die normally, everyone's fed up about it, aren't they, and a bit down. But if when you pass away, you go, oh, we're going to miss Gladys or whatever, but then there's this new life brought in, it's almost like a bad news, good
but
news.
you're talking about it like someone could pick this idea up and run with it. Like you've given them enough information to do it. How is this possible? Where does she get the baby from? Why does it grow? Why grow it in Gladys's belly? Why not have it in a drawer?
But what I'm saying
ready to go, just add water. I mean...
Who looks after son of Gladys?
There is no theory here. There's no... It's the ramblings of a madman.
What I'm saying is, though, the body's always changing, innit? From caveman to now, or whatever.
In some cases.
And they're always finding out more and more. Like I read the other day about how they're saying, do you know, like they say, people have 6 senses.
Yeah.
There's loads more than that.
Carl just had a funny phone call, didn't you? From someone who's telling you all about the little brown, it's called, is it?
Little brown, yeah. That's the name of the spider that sits in the bottom of the pool. He said it doesn't hold its breath. It's got an air bubble.
I didn't think it did hold its breath, to be honest. And then, as you know, Steve was opening a letter we got, and it's a football song, and it's They Don't Like It Up by the Leatherhead Gimpers.
But it's the fact we keep getting sent homemade singles.
Wow, that's good, isn't it? Oh, there's another one there.
They're both football anthems, though. We don't.
Well,
do we show any interest in football? Are we?
Well, yeah, the World Cup we do, don't we?
You're right, Rick.
Yeah. I've got a bet on as well.
Have you?
Chelsea to win 2-1.
What today?
Yeah. And I've got Chelsea to win 2-1, but Henri to score first. And that's something like 30 to 1 or something.
Best luck.
Yeah.
Best luck.
Cheers.
Brilliant.
Right, so spiders. That's the first one we went on, isn't it?
So you
rude people in supermarkets. Spiders that are either have got enough poison to kill a man or are unnecessarily big.
Yeah.
Yeah. Go on then. Right. Good. Going well.
Right. Next one.
Yeah.
Stars in their eyes.
Blimey, it's a popular show. You might alienate a lot of people.
It.
Why?
Just, I think, if you've got a talent, right, there's loads of shows now that you can go on and make a killing.
Yeah.
Like Pop Idol.
Yeah.
What was the other one? Pop Stars.
Yeah.
That sort of thing. So, people who will go on Stars in their eyes, they want to sort of be famous.
Yeah.
They want to be a singer. What I don't understand is why go on that show where you do all the hard work, got to do all the graft.
Yeah.
And yet, even if they win it, you never see him again. The guy who won last year, Christa Berg.
Ian Moore.
Ian Moore.
Before last. But I was now with his own stuff.
Yeah, but, alright. How did he say?
That sold well.
Exactly. Don't get it.
What I like is when, someone doing Edith Piaf, like, wins a heat, and, Matthew goes, well, I don't think you'll be going back to the, cleaning job, will you? Yeah. Yes, she will. Monday.
Almost certainly.
Monday. She'll be back there Monday.
Just,
yeah.
And just the way, you know, in like the final last week where the guy who was Elvis won, and they're all
I thought he would, though. I thought he was very good.
No, he was good. But will we see him again? Do you know what I mean? What is his job?
I don't know.
He'll be carrying on doing that. There's going to be no change to his life whatsoever. He's very good at what he does, but he's wasting his time on Stars in Their Eyes.
So I don't understand exactly what your issue is. You clearly like the show because you watched the final last week.
He thinks... I
you
think
agree that people are talented.
You think it's a waste of talent to go on Stars in Their Eyes because it's not a vehicle to be famous, whereas something like...
Pop Idol,
Yeah.
Pop Stars, even
Yeah.
Big Brother. Do you know what I mean? Go on that. sit in a room all day, have a month off work.
Because they're all big stars now, aren't they?
No, but what I'm saying is, it's less work to sit in the Big Brother house. Now and again, just sing a song, and people go, oh, isn't he a good singer? You come out after having a month's rest or whatever it is you're having there.
Yeah.
You come out and there's loads of record companies, like, waiting for you to come out and give you a deal.
And what happens then? When you get a deal, when you cut a record, what happens to that record then?
Then it's either sells or it doesn't.
And actually, what happened to it?
It didn't sell.
No, none of them did.
But what I'm saying is, that is a lot easier to do than all the graft that you have to do on Stars on the Rise and the pressure.
What would you rather do? Buy Craig's Christmas record?
Yeah.
Or, Ian Moore's, classics?
Probably Craig, just because the guy on Stars on the Rise really thought he was better than Chris de Burgh. When he was singing, and
I think I'm better than Chris de Burgh.
No, he was singing, Chris de Burgh came walking on.
Did he cry?
And he didn't stop and go, oh, I can't believe it, I'm a big fan. He was sort of carrying on, like, don't interrupt me, I'll have a word with you in a bit.
You think you should show the man he's actually making a little bit of living off?
Yeah.
Emulating.
A bit of respect.
A bit more respect.
And the most annoying thing...
I imagine them arguing, resting each other's floor saying, I'm Chris de Burgh, no, I'm Chris de Burgh. Like two ventriloquist dummies, just having a fight in the dressing room afterwards.
But the most annoying thing of all with Stars on the Rise, people who go on and do people like, say like, I think last year, someone went on and did Lamal. Now, if you wanna, cause the whole idea is with Stars on the Rise, you get work off the back of that show by, like, companies, don't you, say,
Yeah.
who will we book?
Yeah.
You could get the real Lamal for about 30 quid. So why have an imitator?
Well, it seems to me, though, Carl, the problem is that show's been running so long that all the big names have already been done, so it's going to end up having to be, isn't it, Lamal or some old kind of 50s singer you've never heard of? Isn't that the problem?
I remember when...
I mean, it's just
Eddie Reader was on there. There was you've had Eddie Reader.
But it's just a karaoke contest. It's just, I think you're assuming that everyone on there wants to get, you know, a recording contract.
They do, Steve.
Okay.
In that bit at the back where they say, and the votes are coming in, let's have a look at the tension now that's going on. And they sat there and they really think they are Elvis. And they are Luther Vandross. Sat there, and like, if they were all sat there having
Woke up this morning, looked at your picture just to get me started. Filth.
If they were all sat there, sort of thinking, oh god, this is a bit of a laugh, innit? But they're not, you can see that they all really want it. And it's like...
So what I'm saying is, who are you putting in room 101? Are you putting in the people who are just there to have a bit of fun?
Everyone involved in that show.
Including Kelly?
Yeah.
He's a talented guy. You don't care?
No,
he's going in as well.
He's in there first, and then everyone else, everyone who enters it, the people who go and sit in the audience, everything.
But what would you do Saturday night? You love the show, you watch it every week.
It was just on when I was getting ready to go out, and there's nothing else on at that time.
Sure.
And it was the final on Saturday night as well.
Yeah, you gotta watch the final, your live final.
Final.
Well, who would you do if you went on the show?
Moby.
I'd probably do... Ooh.
It's not that you look like them, though, is it?
No,
you sound like...
they wouldn't let me on as Tracy Chapman. I was furious.
That's annoying.
Because I sound just like her, but they said... No.
Bowie.
You do Bowie?
Yeah.
Can I hear your impression?
No.
Well, come on.
No, because you just said if you could go on and what have you. I'm saying that.
Well, it's got to be someone you can do. I mean, obviously I'd go on as Will Smith because I can do the rapping.
Yeah.
I can't do it. I'm not a good singer. I've never really been into singing. I've never done a live singing thing before.
Haven't you?
No.
But if there was a talent show on,
What did you do?
I did Walk Like an Egyptian by the Bangles and I mimed, dressed up as a woman.
How old were you?
It was when I was still going to school, so it was like...
Well, I hope so.
12.
And what, sorry, what was the, why did you do that? What did you mime to, and why were you dressed as a woman? Where's the logic in this, is what I'm saying, Carl? What sort of act was this?
I think I was meant to get hold of some, like, Egyptian outfit. Couldn't. So I looked in my mum's wardrobe, and I had a dress.
Dress in a fez, carrying some lizards, that'd do it, wouldn't it?
I had some boots and a wig on.
And how did you dance? Look, he looks confused! He's
confused by his own act.
He's suddenly confused!
The best bit was it was like a proper talent show, do you know where you'd cover it all?
Yeah.
So I did like the dancing and the miming, and then I also did a bit of magic, right? Where I had like a cloth, right? And I had it over my hand like that, and the crowd were like, oh god, what's he gonna do?
Of course they were. Go on, and what was the trick?
They weren't playing that!
the crowd going, oh, what's the great...
There's one chorus. Ooh, what's he gonna do?
Oh, what's the great Pilkington gonna do?
So what I did was, I stood there teasing them, and
Teasing the audience?
yeah,
Yeah.
and I pulled. I said, I'm gonna make a bird appear before your very eyes, okay? And I pulled the tea towel off, and I just had hold of an egg, and I said, oh, it isn't born yet. They loved it.
He's so proud of that! Look at his face!
Did you come up with that yourself?
Yeah.
Did you have any help at all?
No.
So you did walk like an Egyptian and dress as a woman, then you did the egg trick.
And then I was also playing like a janitor, because when the next person was singing, I'd come on and all the electric went off, and I came on going, oh God, has anyone got 50p for the meter?
Oh, you're quite a little showman, weren't you?
And then, like, you know, the
Did you win?
audience chucked us some money.
Yeah.
And,
Are you sure you weren't actually employed as the janitor?
No, did you win?
No, I think we came second. This really tarty girl who did Madonna like a virgin, and I thought, yeah, right. Like you are. She's a right ropey little woman. But
So great. Okay,
brilliant.
so Spy the Stars and Eyes, we better play a track, hadn't we?
Now, Carl, I know you're fascinated by the concept of the doppelganger, of seeing someone who looks exactly like you. Jake has emailed in, he says, Carl, if you could spend a day with an exact replica of you, okay, so somehow they've cloned you, Carl, and you've got him for one day, what would you do with this? What would you make him do? What conversation would you have with him? What would you do? Is there anything you could, how would you utilise him for one day?
Well, they'd both say, I'm not bothered, and that'd be the end of conversation.
what would do me head in is, does he think the same way, look the same way,
Exactly
dresses?
the same.
Yeah.
How would I know which one I was?
Because you'd be you.
That's amazing.
No.
How would I know which
That's
one I was?
incredible.
No, because-
that is the most stupid thing ever said by a human being. Can we get the Guinness Book of Records on this? Has anyone anywhere in the world said anything more stupid than how would I know which one was me?
But think about it, this other person's going, all right, thanks for meeting up and that. And I go, hang on a minute. No, you came to me. And then Suzanne would come home and she wouldn't know the difference. And then suddenly you'd start doubting yourself. And you go, should I be leaving? Or, so how do I know if I am that real one, if he knows what I know?
But you know who you are because you're experiencing
But he'd
it.
be saying that because he'd say, yeah, it is a bit weird.
But
isn't it,
you know
Owen,
the truth, you idiot.
How would I know which one I was?
So anyway,
But bear in mind,
What would you do?
You could pass him off as yourself.
What would you do? Would you play tricks? Would you,
You could be in two places at once.
would you do stings? Would you do scams?
no, because it would only end up getting me into trouble, won't it? Because people won't believe that there's another one like me. Otherwise, everyone would be saying that when they get caught robbing. They go, oh, it wasn't me, it was my doppelganger. It can only... I wouldn't want it, to be honest. Again, it's a bit of a headache, isn't it? Because he could be going off, going mental, causing all sorts of trouble, and you're going, will you pack it in? And he's going, what? What are you on about? But then that wouldn't happen, would it? Because he's being me, so he'd be sat wherever I am anyway. Because he'd want to do what I want to do. So, pointless. But I still wouldn't want it.
It's unbelievable.
That was a conversation with himself.
That was amazing.
That was like experiencing what it would be like if there was two cars.
Yeah,
He's having a discussion with himself.
We could have left in that time and come back, and he'd be arguing still.
What does this mean? Does this mean though that I could just sit at home and not do anything and just send me out on...
Yes.
And when he's seen something happen, I'm seeing it.
No.
You're separate people.
You're separate people.
But then he's not a doppelganger then,
Well,
is he?
you're identical twins then. You found out identical twins and he's got exactly the same input as you. I mean, it's not a real question, is it? It's just a little... Again...
But I said to you the other week about twins and that, how I wouldn't like to have a twin. It's alright when you're a kid, but unless you're a Siamese twin, even they don't even look alike, do they? They're just stuck together. You don't go, oh, don't they look like each other? They have different haircuts. They don't carry that thing on, do they? Like normal twins do. Like normal twins, the mums say have the same haircut, wear the same shirt. Siamese twins never look the same. They've just got their arse stuck together.
Again, it's a dialogue in his own head. It's unbelievable. Okay, Carl. This is a logical conundrum. To a certain extent, there's a little bit of lateral thinking because, but there is only one right answer. Now, the pressure here isn't to get this right. The pressure is, when I've told you the answer, to then understand it. Because when I've explained this to people, I've laid out for them, they still can't quite get the concept. Okay, so, there's 2 doors, Carl.
Yeah.
One leads to heaven, one leads to hell.
Yeah.
Okay, they're identical, you can't tell them apart. Okay, 50-50.
Right.
Obviously you want to go to heaven, I assume. Right, there's 2 guards, identical guards, guarding each door. Okay?
Right.
The one guarding hell always tells a lie. The one guarding heaven always tells the truth. You have to ask one question to find out which is which, and then go through the door you want. What question do you ask?
I've only got one.
Yeah.
And what, one to both?
No, one to either of them. You don't know which one's which, though. So what question do you ask?
Why can't I ask, like, both of them one?
Because it's
Because
not
the
the
rules are you can only ask one. There aren't actually 2 doors labelled heaven and hell, Carl. This is a leap of imagination here.
And I've definitely got to answer. I've got to ask them a question. I can't just sort of have a feel of the door to see if there's any heat or anything.
They're identical. You stand a few yards away. You cannot tell from the outside of these doors which is which. What question do you ask?
I can't look through the keyhole or anything.
There's no
Don't get anywhere
keyhole.
near them. Let's imagine there's a small rope that prevents you from getting anywhere near, rather like outside a nightclub.
Yeah.
So they stood there.
Yeah.
They both look the same. They're both smiling,
Yeah.
but one of them's not really smiling. Really, he's trying to make me make a mistake, isn't he?
Well, he's just going to lie when you ask him a question. If you ask him.
So what's the point in asking a question? Do I know one of them's going to lie?
Yeah.
But would they be neighbours like this? Would they be that close? Why?
I mean, we're not sure if these 2 guys get on.
Okay, it's a logical. Well, I'll tell you the answer.
No, I want to see if he can get it. He's almost there. No, he's not almost there. What am I thinking?
No, hang on. Right, so you go up and you
Yeah.
go.
Hang on. Well, look. Let's imagine that. Let's imagine Ricky and I are those 2 guys. Okay, right?
But we have to. Well, me and Steve will decide which doors we're guarding. Okay.
Right.
I'm.
Look away, Carl.
Okay.
Right.
Then.
So we've decided. Okay, one of us is guarding hell and one of us is guarding heaven. Which question are you going to ask and who are you going to ask it to?
Right. I'll just say to you, Steve. I'll go. Got some post for God here.
That's not a question. That's a statement.
Right. You've got some post for God here.
But that's not a question.
Yeah, but maybe the question's coming. You got some post for God here. Yeah.
And it needs to be signed.
It's not a question. Still not a question.
No, let him finish.
Is God in? Because I need him to sign for this post. Is he in?
Well, I can answer that as well if you want.
Go on.
He's in. He's behind my door. Do you want to answer it?
Well,
Yes.
Do you want to get him? Just.
Well, no, you've only got one question.
So you're asking Steve, is God in? What's the answer?
Yes.
Ask me. Yes.
Look, lads, I'm just trying to do a job here. What am I going to do with this?
Well, give it to me and I'll give it to God because he's behind my door. Steve?
Yeah. Give it to me and I'll take it into God because he's behind my door.
You're an idiot. Let me tell you the answer. I'm guarding hell, by the way. I'm the devil. Steve's God, okay? So you asked me what Steve would say if you asked him what door he was guarding, and I'm going to lie. I know he'd say heaven because he'd tell the truth, but I'm lying, so he'd say hell. So the question is, if I was to ask the other one what door he was guarding, what would he say? And whatever the person answers is the door they're guarding.
Steve, what door are you looking after?
Well,
Heaven.
yeah.
Why should I believe you?
Because you don't know. No, that doesn't work. Because you asked me the same, and I'd say heaven as well.
Right, so you do believe. This is where you use your gut feeling, though, isn't it? This is what life's...
Well, as opposed to the pure logic that Ricky's just used.
I just think, because there's a lot of questions in life where you don't know the answer, and you go, do you know what? I don't like the look of him. So...
They're identical.
Yeah, but they're still identical twins. You always get a little snidey one.
Well, Rick, you're not the only one who's been away. I know you've been off working, but I, at long last, have taken a bit of leisure time.
Go on.
And you've probably heard of the Rio de Janeiro Carnival. Only one of the hottest, events in the world calendar. Yeah. Imagine me down there.
Oh,
Rio,
God.
you can imagine, did not know what hit it.
Oh, God almighty. Imagine, were you like Paul the Party Animal Parker?
He would not have been able to keep up if he was with me.
God, what did you do? What did you get up to?
Oh, let me tell you right now. Day 1, I almost drowned. Day 2, I got a foot infection and spent the day in the hospital. And the rest of the time, I had diarrhea. So that was a hell of a time.
Carnival.
Yeah. I did. I was able to watch some of the carnival on TV, and it looked brilliant. It looked amazing. I didn't actually. It was difficult to make out because the TV wasn't actually in my room. Because in an effort to save money, I wasn't staying in a hotel. I was staying with a bunch of other people in some kind of, like, someone's flat that they'd let out. And so I had to watch the TV, like, from my window, watching a neighbour's TV. And of course, when they change the channel, often during the juicy bits, I couldn't see anything. And but they looked really good. I'm bunged up at the moment just so I can get through the show. But I've just been on a 12-hour flight, and it is terrifying being on a flight when you know that any moment you could go. Because how the problem is sometimes the toilet's free, and sometimes you've got to queue up. And the worst bit is that sort of half an hour just before you land, when they say the toilets are out of bounds now. I tell you, I went twice before that in quick succession. The woman sat next to the toilet. She didn't know what was going on, the noises and stuff in there, and because I was really panicky. Oh Christ! And so of course then on the whole flight, as we're landing, I'm really petrified because I'm thinking this could. I packed a pair of underpants and jeans in the bag in the holdall. Just in case it all went. And I was really, because I hate flying anyway, and I hate landing because it's the most terrifying moment of the journey. Then it really was rumbling, and I was thinking, I've got to get out of here. Of course, you know when you're in a hurry, suddenly everything makes you angry. The little old lady in front of me who's just hobbling along off the gangplank. Go away! Just really annoyed.
With your bad hips and your bad
and
legs.
Your Zimmer frame.
I know you've been through a war, but get out of my way!
And just anyone who kind of even passes you, and so I managed to get there just in time. Got into the and it all went off. Man alive, it was grim.
What's your next one?
Okay, number 2.
People who don't want to do what the brains would be better at doing.
Right. Okay. No, I'll get around that sentence. Now, tell me again.
Brains that don't want to do what their owners are good at.
Ah, so now it's the brain's fault. Before you said you were going to put people in who don't do what their brain's good at, but now you've changed that. Now you're putting the blame on the brain. Now you want to put in brains who don't want to do what their owners are good at. I like the fact that you own a brain.
Okay, now then, I just need a bit more clarification, Rick. Before you ask questions, can you just expand on that point, please, KP?
Do you know, like, people decide what they want to do,
right?
Don't they, for a living?
Mm-hmm.
But sometimes they're not good enough.
Right.
You mean they have a dream and they can't fulfill it because they haven't got the skill or...
Yeah, but that doesn't mean they're not good for anything.
No.
It's just that they haven't unlocked the thing that they're good at.
Right.
Which is fair enough. You can't always find what's going on. There's a lot going on in the brain.
Yeah.
There might be something up there that you just never find, which is sad. Right?
Right.
But
you mean you may never discover your full potential because you may never stumble across it. You may never have the means.
Yeah.
But of course, yeah.
I only got into hospital radio because my dad was in hospital. So I found out about this thing and I thought, I didn't even know this existed. I want to go at it.
Of course. So, I mean, there's much bigger issues there that, the poor working class people don't get the same opportunities. People in third world, when you're worrying about whether you're going to live through the next few days, you don't start thinking, I wonder if I can play the cello.
Can I refer you back though, Rick? You made an interesting point there, but I fear that's not exactly what Carl was saying. I don't think that his point was quite that profound.
Yeah, that's kind of what I meant.
Yeah, I don't know. There was something to do with the brain not allowing its owner.
Yeah, because that's the bit that annoys me. Fair enough if a brain hasn't decided what it wants to do, because you.
What is this?
Let him finish.
God, this thing about the brain.
Shut up.
Because
being in charge like the numbskulls.
Because it hasn't found its destiny type thing.
The brain
but
hasn't found its destiny.
When someone is good at something and they know the brain is good at something, but then they don't want to do it and they want to go off and do something else.
Sorry, who's to blame here? The person or the brain? I'm talking like him now.
I don't know
who are you putting into room 102? What annoys you? A brain that doesn't let its owner know what it's good at, or an owner that won't do what the brain wants to do?
I think it's the owner, because say like a bloke who's good at plumbing.
Yeah.
his brain loves plumbing. His brain loves plumbing. He's sick of plumbing. So he goes off to try and
unplumb.
No, he's going to do something else.
He's going to do something else.
He's carpentry.
Now, they say in this country the problem is we haven't got enough tradesmen.
Right.
We don't have enough plumbers.
Right.
There's enough plumbers' brains.
I don't know what the fuck that means.
Shut up.
What are you talking about?
Shut up. Let him please finish.
Because
this is like beds and pillows
brains have not changed over the years. The brain is exactly the same. But it's the owner of the brain that's in charge. The brain could be going, I want to go for a walk, or I want to go and find something out. But if your body's too lazy to get up and go and see the stuff, the brain isn't going to get what it wants.
It doesn't make sense, Carl.
Right,
you are your
this.
brain. Okay, you could have a good point if you said this. You could say that everyone's brain has the ability to become a plumber.
Yeah.
You know, your brain, you know, yeah.
But I don't know if it has, you see, because this is the thing. When I was younger, when I first left school, I had 2 jobs I wanted to do. I wanted to be a joiner, right? Or a car mechanic. I had a go at sort of joinery. Couldn't really get my head around it. Right? Did work placement at a garage, messed it up, got kicked out.
What did you do?
Now the thing is,
why did you get kicked out?
Just because I messed the garage up.
How did you mess it up?
The fella was he's a bit moody, this fella, and he just decorated his garage. And
you are like the slug in this scenario, aren't you?
He just, you know, like to paint the floor and everything, make it with lines in it and everything like that.
Right. What did you do?
And he painted it white. You shouldn't have white in a garage. It's stupid with all the oil about and that. It's not the right colour, is it? It's like getting a white sofa. You're asking for trouble. Yeah. So he'd painted it all, and then he sort of said, "Do you want to change the oil on the car?" So yeah, go on then. So what do I do? He said, you pull the sump out, stick a bucket underneath, catch the oil. All right then. Go down there, pull the sump out, hold the bucket, but because of the pressure, the oil doesn't come straight out, it floats out sideways. Went all over his white floor, he went mental, kicked me out. Now the thing is, that wasn't really my fault, my brain didn't know. It was showing an interest.
No, what? Right,
let him finish!
Oh God, what does he mean?
Shut up,
the brain,
the
brain was showing an interest, but at the end of the day, if it hasn't got the knowledge, what can it do? Now, you could say, was that my fault or my brain's fault?
No, I'd never say that. People may be in the wrong job. You might not discover what you're really
Yeah, but I'm talking
at.
about, you get people, alright, let's go to the extreme. People with no legs who want to be swimmers. Don't be stupid.
Oh God! Oh God!
I'm so annoyed. Oh. Is this a big problem?
It's madness, isn't it? It's mad that the brain wants to do that so much. The brain's in the wrong body almost. Yeah, are you in me?
No.
A plumber who can plumb is annoying when he jacks it in as a living because there's other brains who can't do plumbing. They don't get their head round it.
This means.
Look, you must have learned the same stuff at school as me, but a lot of it wasn't interesting to my brain. I wasn't bothered. It wasn't into taking it in. Yet look at me in like editing and all that. I can use all that equipment because my brain's happy with it.
Yeah, you found something you're good at.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But why aren't I good at plumbing or joinery or being a mechanic?
You're probably not interested in it.
I loved it as a kid.
People don't do have different brains. People are different. Some people are more higher logic, low emotion.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, but I don't know what you're putting in room 102 because you're saying it's like this brain's wandering around looking for a body, and it goes, "Oh, I'll choose that body. Hang on, this body doesn't even want to do some plumbing."
It's a matter of taste. It's just a matter of taste.
It's good to do what you're good at and stop chasing a dream.
This is the most complicated thing. You could just put in noisy kids. Like, Ricky, why is this is a brain that
because someone else would have done noisy kids. There's no point everyone putting in the same thing.
But I don't even know what your point is here.
For example, what I put in were parents who ignore their kids running riot in a restaurant or on a train. The arrogance of them thinking that, oh, isn't it fun? That there was someone to blame. I was basically putting in bad parenting, or there was someone. I wasn't going. A brain who wanted to be a plumber, but the plumber didn't.
I'm not putting the brain in, it's just people. If I had a really good skill, I'd hope that I'd use it.
But you don't know what you're good at until you try it. You might be the best drummer in the world.
I know, but they're the people I'm having a go at. They're the people who I'm having a go at. The people who know they can do something, but they don't do it.
So people who don't fulfil their own potential.
That's a good one.
Is that a better point?
Yeah, that's what I meant.
But there's nothing to do with this duality, this brain
brain versus person. I don't know what that is. It's a weird thing you've got. A really weird little kink you've got, that you think this brain is another entity that lives in your head, that you own it, and you've got to become the master of it. Like some sort of weird dog. Who am I talking to now, Carl or his brain?
We're both listening.
Well, I will put in people who don't fulfil their full potential. Slugs are safe, but people who don't fulfil their full potential, you have got into room 102.
That's Feeder and come back around. It's a new leaf, Steve. I'm going to do properly now. I'm not going to be slovenly. I'm sitting up straight, you see.
Yep.
And it's going to be a proper DJing, because I think coming up soon, some great tracks, including a new one from Abs and an old one from Snow. Informer.
You know me, Daddy, Stone me, Eka Boom, a licky boom boom down.
I'm joking, of course. We've got some fantastic tracks. There's some great chat, and we've got Carl with
some
me,
great
Steve.
Chat.
Steve, I'm Ricky Gervais on XFM 104.9.
There he is indeed, with him, Steve Merchant. And Karl Pilkington, of course. Say hello, Karl.
All right.
Yeah, nice. And you say you're reading...
The beginning of a radio show is very much your wares, your shop window, laying out your stall. I don't think you could choose a better track than The Only Ones, Another Girl on the Planet.
I'd love to hear it.
One of my favourite intros, that.
Amazing.
Oh, that was dangerous, because I once heard on Capital Radio, this has got to be the greatest rock intro of all time, and they played Money for Nothing by Dire Straits.
Brilliant.
Yeah, I can just imagine them putting their head down.
I remember a friend of mine, when I was at school, he just bought a car, and he took me outside to show off the stereo system, Money for Nothing.
Really?
He just played that. I've never heard the song before. Just played that for its entire 4 or 5 minute duration.
It is a good song
for the sound system.
Yeah, it's a good song for showing off intros and sound systems.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You said you were driving along earlier. You saw someone.
Yeah, it was one of those zooped up sort of sporty saloons.
Nice.
You know, the big like a Mondale or something, those big, and it was blaring out, and the bloke in it was sort of like, I could tell he was 24, but already going bald.
Yeah.
From like obviously his estate agency job, not too well.
Yeah.
But he's made a bit of money, and the stereo system was ridiculous. I mean, so loud, and it was going through Covent Garden. He was playing Snow in Informer.
Do people remember Informer by Snow? It was a big tune in my
I don't know. It's great. Yeah, I always enjoy it.
Can I bring that in next week? Can we play Snow next week?
Well, you can play a tiny little bit.
Tiny little bit of Snow.
Yeah.
Informer. Do you remember Snow, Carl?
Yeah,
you loved it. Yeah, big tune.
Yeah, loved it. Oh, did you?
Big tune from the 90s.
Happy song, isn't it?
You were saying that you've turned over a new leaf.
Yeah.
Is that in all aspects of your life, or is that just in your broadcasting career? Because the reason I bring that up is because, do you want to describe what you were eating just now when we came in? Because you're a 40-year-old man. You've put on a little bit of weight, so presumably you're watching what you eat.
Well, no, but it sounded exotic. I went into a cafe and they didn't have a cheese sandwich.
Right.
And
can I describe what it looked like to me? Right, it looked to me like a big slab of cheese. You've just got them to just cut off a big block of cheese, like the size of a CD case, or one of those double albums, right, of cheese, right, and just lightly melt that for me so it drips over my hand and it gets really greasy in the bag. But just lay some strips of bacon on the top.
Yeah, but listen, you've embarrassed yourself.
Is that what it was?
No, it's a croque monsieur, so it's French.
It's a what?
A croque monsieur.
A croque monsieur.
Yeah, and so I thought,
I've never heard of a croque monsieur.
Let's see, you embarrassed yourself.
Is that how it's pronounced, or is it croque monsieur? You didn't expect me to be bringing out the French. Tu aimes la musique pop? Oui, je t'aime la musique pop.
Le plume de ma tante.
Où est le syndicat d'initiative?
That means my aunt's pen.
So what was it then? It was a croque monsieur,
and it was just too greasy. It was just too, and it was all wobbly. I like toast, like it to be crisp.
Sure.
It's the thing with like, what? This is rubbish. Play Coldplay. Coldplay. That's all right, isn't it?
Yeah, it's not bad. Yeah, not bad.
Nice little track. Yeah. Well, Steve, we've been away now for what? 12, 13, 14 weeks.
Is that really?
Yeah.
Wow.
I've been looking forward to coming back. It's great. It's great to be back.
Yeah.
And
yeah, we've had some laughs, some tears in the interim, I imagine.
Yeah.
We've had a few ups and downs. Obviously been working on the TV show, The Office, BAFTA winning. Coming soon, BBC 2. But Rick, I just need to mention something quickly to you. When did I last see you? I saw you yesterday, didn't I?
Yeah.
Because we went up to Edinburgh yesterday. We were very nicely invited to go and talk at the Edinburgh International Television Festival. It was quite a big deal. We went up there and we were interviewed. And Ricky chose to go on the train because it takes like 4 hours, 4.5 hours or something on the train. But it's quite leisurely. It's quite sort of gentlemanly womanly thing to do.
Yeah.
I opted to go for the plane option and fly up there.
More modern.
Exactly, and they bankrolled that, they paid for it all, and that was all not very nice. And as I recall, when I last saw you, we got a cab, didn't we? And you asked if you could get the cab to drop you off at the train station.
Yeah.
And then it took me on to the airport.
Yeah.
Did I... Now, that was before... the last time I saw you was before I got to the airport and missed my flight, wasn't it? Because I had to drop you off in the centre of town. Yeah, no, that was just before I had to pay £165 to upgrade to another ticket.
How did you not tell me that in the last hour?
£165, Ricky, I had to pay because we dropped you off at the train station. So, I mean, do you want to go halves on that, or what do you want to... How do you want to deal with that? How do you want to sort that whole mess out?
Why were you late?
Why was I late? Because we dropped you off in the centre of Edinburgh, and you know how hard it is to get out of Edinburgh in rush hour traffic?
But it was only 3 minutes away, so you'd have missed it anyway.
No, because if we'd gone the other direction, it would have been 20 minutes. It took me like an hour to get to the airport. And I got there, and the plane had already left, and the cabbie was just laughing. He was saying, we're never going to make it. He goes, you were a religious man, you better start praying. I thought he was being facetious. He was absolutely right. £165.
But hold on, why didn't he tell you that when he picked up at 4:15?
It makes you wonder. So obviously I'm a little bit annoyed, because you know I'm not a man who likes to sort of spend unnecessarily.
But wait, this is not my fault, because you were there when we made that decision. I didn't impose this on you. We both decided that might be... It's both our fault. I mean, it's no one's fault.
It's both our fault. That's fair. That's all I wanted to hear. It's both our fault. Therefore, it's both our financial obligation.
No.
£165. Just split that in half. Write a cheque, Rick. Write a cheque. It's fine. I trust you. You know.
Phone in. I think everyone. This is.
You're clearly irresponsible.
No, of course I'm not. If you share a cab and then one person's lucky enough to not be late and one person is unlucky enough, and that's what it is, bad luck. I don't think you share the obligation. It's a moral dilemma, this, isn't it?
But it's more than that, though, isn't it? Because let's be honest.
What?
Even if you had known that I was going to get there late, you'd have wanted me to hang around just so you weren't left around waiting for a train on the road. Because you get bored sitting there. So you'd have wanted me to at least got in that cab.
I got there way too early. I actually got there I was there about 30 minutes
early.
You
made it fine then, that was...
Well, exactly, so I mean, I sacrificed me hanging around for half an hour so you could get it at 4:15. And the other thing is this, you were going to get it at 4:15 anyway.
Yeah, but I would, if I'd gone the other direction and not dropped you off in the centre, I would have been there in time.
Would we?
Well,
is that true? Well, only God knows.
Well, and the cabbie. What I mentioned it to. So...
I'll tell you what will cheer you up. I'll tell you what's better than 80 quid. I'll tell you what's better than... Shall I?
Go on.
Music.
What, are you paying the whole 165?
Listen, look, I've brought in a little track here. Bruce Springsteen off the Ton of Love album. And I know you're a Springsteen fan.
I'm a Springsteen fan. We should just qualify this, because a lot of people who listen to XFM are obviously a bit edgy about Springsteen. They just think he's this old, kind of ludicrous 80s rocker, the bandana, you know, the flying the flag, which he never really was.
No, that was Bon Jovi.
Exactly,
don't confuse them.
Bon Jovi. But seriously, no, do you know what I mean? He did write some great music in the 70s, and he's just got a little bit kind of pompous in the 80s, but he still turned out some amazing tunes, one of which I imagine is this one, Rick.
This one's called Brilliant Disguise. Bit of Springsteen there, Brilliant Disguise on XFM 104.9. I think that soothed you a little bit. That's
not really
taking the blood off. I just remembered something as well.
80 quid, Rick, 80 quid.
You know what? We finished the talk at about sort of 3, and we had a couple of hours to kill before we got about that half 2, wasn't it? We had a couple of hours before we got the taxi, and we were eating in this cafe, and he said, how long's your train journey? I said, 4.5 hours. He went, so what time you get? I said, I'll get in about 10. He went, 6:30, me. And he was quite smug, and I went, yeah. I said, it is quite a long time. I just started to sort of relax over there. He went, yeah. He said, I think I'm come off better here, because usually you've organised all this stuff. He said, but I think you've chosen wrong here. I think you're right.
You? Don't think those words were coming back to haunt me as I was handing over 165 notes. All I was thinking was, Ricky's going to be loving it.
First class, drinking John Smith's and listening to Mercedes Walkman.
Yeah, but I handed over my initial card. She said 165 quid then. I went, fine. I handed over the card. It was a Switch card. She said, we don't take Switch.
Don't they?
I was thinking, what am I going to do then? I don't know what I'm going to do. I don't know where I'm going to get the money from.
What did you do in the end then?
Well, luckily I had another card.
Oh, right.
And and she managed to accept that one. But I don't know what I'd have done there. I don't genuinely.
You
don't
didn't
know what
tell
I'd
me
have
you
done.
had another card.
Yeah, I got 2 cards.
Have you?
Oh yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
Oh, that is depressing.
I was so depressed because I just kept thinking about what I'd said to you. I've won this time because normally I'm always like legging it for tubes, or I'm just, do you know, where I get stuck in the rain, or
And
something.
I've
I just never
organised
seem
a
to be able to
driver or
organise travel.
something. Because when you get me a job, I said, "Why? It's up to you. It's up to you." You know what I mean? Every man for themselves.
But this time it was 4.5 hours, and I was just 40 minutes on the plane. There'd have been no problem.
Yeah.
Unbelievable. I'm so livid. Do you know, I got off because I was not very well either. I'm a bit ill at the moment. I got off the plane, and I thought, well, I could get a cab from the airport all the way back home, but, you know, I've already been stung for 165 quid. Got the tube. Took me forever.
Really?
I'm not going to lie to you. It took me forever. I got in probably later than you did. Around the 11 o'clock mark.
You didn't really?
No, it wasn't quite as bad as that. But I was so depressed. I'm really depressed, Rick. So I was to say 50 quid has
well,
took me
money,
right out.
I mean, Steve does not like to waste money. And, I mean, by that, I mean...
I don't like to spend money.
No. He had to go out and get a shirt for a photo shoot, quite an important photo shoot for, I think, the Times, right? He went out, he was buying a shirt, went out, planned it, weren't sure. Came back, $14.99 from Henny's.
Henny's, $14.99.
He knew where he was aiming, he aimed straight for Henny's, he knew where he can get a bargain. This is a man...
But it seems to me that at that kind of price, you can throw them away, Av. You don't even need to wash them, really. You can throw them away using, like, Kleenex.
Have you ever thrown one away?
No. No. Just scrape off the stains and keep on wearing it, Rick.
Remember that time when we went to the casino for my birthday, and I was like 100 quid down, and some people were 100 quid up and 100 quid down. He, after the 3 hours we were there, was down £20, genuinely depressed.
I was almost crying.
Yeah.
Because I don't. Well, it's because it's a mugs game gambling. It really is. Was that where we? Because I went there. It was. There was one time we went there. It was our agent's birthday.
That was another time we went there, right? And he was up, and he got a win. He was 30 quid up, and so I said, "It's your round then." And the round was more than 30 quid, and he couldn't believe it. And he sat down and he went, "I couldn't believe it." He said, "And I bought him a present, so I was already down."
Yeah. I was. I turned out I was already down because I bought our agent a gift. I didn't see him buy it. And you know that thing where you're buying a round of drinks for people you don't even know? So it's like, what's the story there? Why am I suddenly bankrolling you drinks? It's like, I don't know you people. I'm not going to get any kind of... I'm not going to see you again to sort of reap the benefits at a later point.
Because he came in with his 3
most of you are married or engaged, so I'm not even going to pull from it. It's a waste of time. It was just pure generosity.
It was something like from Swingers, because he came into the cocktail bar holding 3 chips up worth £10 each and went, "Hello," like that.
Yeah, I was £30 up. That's a lot of money, Rick. You know, Carl, you know that. 30 quid. You don't want to sniff at that.
Oh, what songs should we play? We've got lots of songs in. It's hard.
Bit of Incubus.